So, this video is for my friend, the Canadian Bubba. Bubba! How I do these frames, it's pretty simple. There's no inlay, there's no veneer. I start with curly maple. Curly maple is a pretty unique wood in that the way the tree grows, real simple, is the trees are heavy and they get compressed, and these lines that you see across here are end grain of the wood. So the tree is compressing on, and the fibers of the tree are turning out. And that's the end grain here. So what happens, one of the characteristics of end grain is, end grain, when you apply some type of coloring to it, those parts of the wood tend to absorb more of whatever it is you're putting on there color wise. And that's what's happening here. There's the dark and the light. All I'm doing is applying dye stains to this. So this is a dye stain, and then what I just do is, depending on, so you see the color contrast of the two difference. This is natural, this is with dye on it. So what I do is, you can see their difference in this too. There's still dye on it, but I sand back. I sand what I want off. Sometimes I want a lot, sometimes I don't want a lot. It just depends on my mood and how it's looking. So I'll just apply dye to it all in one color at a time, and then let it dry and sand it, and then go from there. And then the same thing with the red. The red is just more dye. I don't sand that because I want more of the red. And my thinking was, basically, if I left the frame natural, still nice, but it's just too blah looking. You got black and white and a little bit of color in the insignia, in the number board. So I wanted to pick up that red and that yellow and put it into the frame, just to make it, it doesn't take away from it doesn't take away from the photo of the artwork. It just adds to it a little bit. It makes it a little bit more interesting. People say, hey, how'd you do that? Like you did. How did you do that? That's how I did it. Again, I do one dye at a time, and then, the painstaking part is getting it on here. And it's no big deal if it gets up on here, because you're just going to sand it off. You know what I mean? But you don't want to totally coat it. You know what I'm saying? So you do need to be a little bit diligent about how you're doing it. And what's happening here, there's a chamfer on both sides, and I'm just dyeing the chamfer and the side, the chamfer and the side. So you got to take it, a little bit easy, but basically that's what's happening here. There's no veneers, there's no inlays. It's just kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say you're fooled, but yeah, you're fooled, because I'm using real wood and just manipulating it with stains, dyes, really. This is dyes, wood dyes, not food dyes or anything like that. And I mix my dyes with alcohol so that they dry faster, and they don't raise the grain as much as if you mix them with water. So I thin out dyes and get colors that I want. And that's it. Plain and simple. Hope that helped you understand this process that I'm doing here. Be well, man. See you later.